Hello, guys, it's me, Everyday John, your host for this amazing podcast, and I have here with me two amazing guests that they are going to say their name. Please say it. Please.
Duztr.
Really?
Duztr,
Okay, I'll go first. Fine.
Oh, well.
Hi everyone, I'm Duztr. Yeah.
And
Hey everyone, I am TheGamingDroid, and welcome to the
yay.
podcast.
Yes, so as you guys know, I would have bring Kurt, but he could not be here for some reason. So I asked the learning droid or the gaming droid to be here with me and Duztr. Duztr is a new guest to this podcast. You all know droid very well, so you will not be hearing the is how I'm going to say this. Where you can find, because Duztr, please say where people can find you, because I'm
So,
talking too much.
okay. Basically, I started YouTube a few weeks ago, and you can find me at Duztr. I don't know. You're probably gonna link it, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be in the description. And if you look really hard and search for Duztr, you'll find a retarded dude, and that's me.
Yeah, pretty much. And if you guys don't know, of course you don't know, me and Duztr are real life friends. I don't think you know this, droid. No, I think you know this.
Yeah, I was aware.
Okay, so yeah. So me and him are real life friends, so yeah. This is just a curiosity. I just wanted to say it. Ta-da.
You made it
Because-
really awkward.
Hey, I need to say something.
You have
so-
to prove that you have friends.
Yeah, not that being your friend is something very special.
I love you too.
Yay.
Feel that hatred, feel that love.
Oh, we like each other, not much, but we
do.
do.
Yeah.
It's something.
It's a little thing. It's something you've got together
It exists.
Yeah, somewhere,
somewhere.
somewhere. So, but guys, this is a podcast about games, and we need to talk about games.
I thought this
About
was
the
a
recent-
podcast about me.
Bitch, please, you are not that important.
Okay,
Jesus.
I'm sorry.
So, so we are going to talk about games that are going to come out, and things about new games, old games. So I hope you will enjoy it, and yeah, let's see if we can make it this an enjoyable time, like 1 hour time. So yay! And but my first question for my two guests, something, yeah,
Yeah, guests.
guests.
Yeah.
Is with new games coming out, and I have seen this a lot, especially with Pokemon Sun and Moon. The game as turning into a cinematic game. If you guys don't know what is a cinematic game is a game that has so much cutscenes that the time that you play is the same time that you are watching the game. And some people, some players, some hardcore players don't like that. And I would like to know, how do you feel about this? I know that Duztr played Pokemon Sun, so I'm asking about this. And Droid, you play a lot of a lot of games, so it's good to know your input on this situation.
So I guess I'll go first then.
Yep.
Yeah,
Let's do me first every time. Okay then.
yeah, we could do the oldest one, but you could go first.
Yeah, like I'm gonna mess up. I'm gonna set up the ground. Whatever. There's the thing about cinematics in games is like there's a little bit for everyone. Like people who like a good story or people who like gameplay. There's always gonna be those. You can always mix those together, but I think that nowadays people are going more into the story. Like The Last Guardian is more. It's not so much as a gameplay game. It's more. It's telling a story, and it's. I think that's fascinating. Like, you don't play that for the gameplay. It's like it's pretty generic actually, and it's just an amazing story that you find like that. And as you said, like Pokemon Sun and Moon, it's like the gameplay hasn't been very much innovated. There's the addition of Z moves and stuff. It's a lot of actually
Megas.
Sun and Moon's changed a lot, but yeah, I think you're right when you say it turned into more cinematic game. I think that's a good way that that Game Freak is going
Hmm.
with those games, because like legendary Pokemons are getting a really amazing introduction. Like you didn't feel as much like the first games when you found, oh, it's Articuno is just sitting there. Cool. And now he has like a huge build up. Not spoiling anything, but like from the very beginning of the game, and you just find that amazing, and you just take more importance to that Pokemon in particular.
Okay, so kind of one thing that about cinematics that I've noticed for years is cinematics covers a lot of things, like the cutscenes in cinematics. The terms cover a lot of things. Um, you can have story cinematics. One thing you said, Duztr, was story-based games. You can have story-based cinematics, and a lot of games have, like for since the early ages of cinematics starting, back when we had Command and Conquer, the very original Command and Conquer, like I think over a decade and a half ago, that had story-based cinematics, but also the introduction, the kind of what I tend to term filler cinematics as well. So, for instance, the introduction cinematics in Binding of Isaac for the bosses, they play every time you meet that boss. They don't tell you anything about the boss. They're just a little cinematic that plays showing you the boss. So there's kind of a difference between a cutscene which is telling a story and a cutscene which is there to fill space and time. Um, and for gamers, I think most gamers, if they're sitting down to a story-based game like Pokemon, Final Fantasy, even strategy story-based games, cutscenes that make sense and cutscenes that are part of the story, they'll accept. Cutscenes that are there to fill time, not so much. And it does depend on the game. For instance, if in Paladins, say at the start of every Paladins match, you had a little cutscene explaining why the two teams were fighting, no one would like it.
Yeah, that's true.
Because the whole point of it is to get in and play the game. The point of the game is the mechanics. Now, plenty of people play story-based games for the mechanics. I play Final Fantasy for the mechanics because I know the storyline off by heart. I don't need the storyline. I already know it. So I play
Oh.
it for the mechanics because I enjoy the mechanics of Final Fantasy VII especially. But even then, the story arc sort of flows through the game and the cinematics are there. Important for me, whether it's a story-based cinematic or whether it's just an introductory cinematic for a creature or something like that, is the ability to skip them. Make it a choice. The whole thing about games is choice. You pick what game to play and you pick how to play it. Because within the mechanics of the game, there's always multiple ways to play and you pick how to do it. So give players a choice over cinematics as well. The biggest way to lose me from a game is to have a game that's heavy on cinematics with no option to skip them. Even if I
Yeah,
like them.
yeah, because there are some games, the games that don't have a backstory, or you don't need to know the story, that have some cinematics that they are always and always showing up, and you don't have the possibility to skip that. That's the problem that most of the gamers that I've researched and asked, and a lot of things that I did to ask this question is that there are so many games with cinematics that you that games that didn't need those cinematics, games that you just just get it to play the game, not to see a movie. Some games are turning slowly into movies and not to games, uh, and I think this is my personal opinion. Yes, some games have a good story, some games should have cinematics. There are other games that shouldn't have so many cinematics or some cuts that I think that is just to fill to f- to make the game longer and with nothing. I think that's a wrong way to go in games. and I don't fully agree with that. But of course, there are some amazing games with cinematics that I cry, I laugh, I do so much with those cinematics that I like.
And in some cases, even the little cinematics, the repeating cinematics that play repeated times, there is purpose behind them, there is reason for them, but you need to be able to skip them. For instance, I'll give you a great example that a lot of people can connect with. I take it, John, you've played Hearthstone, I know that.
Yep, a
Duztr,
little bit.
have you played Hearthstone?
The card game?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I haven't played it, but I know what it is. I've seen a bit.
of
Of
course not, because it's not like internal card game. No one
Yeah.
phones.
So
You
even
forgot to say it's free.
It's free.
Even in Eternal or Duelist, when you get a pack of cards, you drop it into the little thing and it opens for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the first time you drop a pack of cards in, there's this nice little flashy, little lightning bolts come to it, little lines of power, and it shakes and it shivers and then it explodes. That happens every time you drop a pack of cards in. But if you click, it skips it. And it just gives you the cards. That thing where it shakes and it shivers and the pack of cards explodes and shows you the cards, that's a cinematic. And it's a little repeating cinematic that happens every time. The reason they have it is to have this build up and this sense of expectation for new players who are opening their first few packs of cards. Once you've opened your first few packs of cards, it's pointless.
You don't care.
It's a waste
Yeah.
of time. So
Um,
that's a good implementation. It's a nice little cinematic in Duelist and in Hearthstone. They have nice little cinematics for the opening. But once you've seen it, you've seen it. You can skip it. You can click
you
and
can
it skips
skip
it.
like another game that has cinematics for bosses, and Duztr played that game, is Dark Souls. So every time you go against a boss in 3, there's a little cinematic, and sometimes that cinematic can reveal bits of the story of that boss. But if you've seen it the first, you can skip it the second, the third, and so on. So that's a thing that I really like about games. If you can skip it, it's heaven. So
like Dark Souls explains a lot of the story of the game about descriptions in items and such, but also the small cutscenes before bosses tell you a lot of the story too, especially of the bosses and their relationships to the environment and the world around them.
But then that's another great example is Dark Souls. You die a lot in Dark Souls, especially fighting bosses. Imagine
imagine if you couldn't skip the cutscenes.
Yep.
How annoying would that be?
Your 20th fight with
Well-
a boss, you'd just rage quit the game.
You
Even
just
if
know you just know the cutscene by heart. Be able
Yeah,
to quote
even if
it.
it's a 15-second cutscene or a 10-second cutscene, 20 times watching it. A great example is there's a game called Too Human. It was supposed to be part of a trilogy, but the trilogy was cancelled because the game fell through and the studio closed. But in that game, when you die, there is an unskippable cutscene of a Valkyrie, which is an angel in Norse mythology, coming down, picking you up, and taking you up to heaven, and then you respawn. The death
And how long was
cutscene.
that?
The death cutscene is about 34 seconds long. It is unskippable.
Jesus.
jeez, that's. And if it's a game that you die a lot, that could be pretty annoying.
Later
Like-
levels, you died a lot.
Oh, I will name that Valkyrie Florence. What's up, Florence? Yes, I die again. Yes, pick me
Yes,
up.
it happened again. Just get on with
Don't
it.
judge me. Jesus, I can see you in your eyes. Oh my god.
Don't
I can
judge me
see it in
for
your
it.
wings.
Oh. But yeah, cinematics on games can evolve to the good or can evolve to the bad side. So in the next games we'll need to see if they are going the right way with cinematics or if they are going the total wrong way with cinematics. That we'll need to see it. I think my opinion, Pokemon, it's like it's going the bad way of cinematics. The cutscenes, there are too many cutscenes and they are getting way too annoying. You go outside, cutscene. You go inside, cutscene. You go upstairs, cutscene. Jesus, I just want to play. Oh my god.
So that's becoming a lot more like Japanese RPGs. So
Oh yeah.
a lot more
Yeah.
like a Japanese RPG where there's basically a cutscene every time you meet somebody. Um, there's different approaches with the cutscenes. You can have cinematic games without ever having a cutscene. Last Guardian is a great example. There's very few cutscenes in Last Guardian.
Oh yeah. That's
Most of
true.
the cinematic element of it is done through gameplay.
Yep.
Now, not.
Uh.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say because I'm watching people playing the Last Guardian, and you can play the game and then old voice, the narrator,
Hmm.
appears and begins telling the story, but you can still play and listen.
Yes.
So it's a good way to put a cutscene, not cutscene, or a story in a game without, well, stopping the player to play the game.
Yeah. And this is it, is integrating cutscenes into games. Certain cutscenes you can't play during because they've got to show you things you can't see while you're playing, and they kind of have to show you to keep the storyline going.
Mhm.
But I think the basic rule of thumb is keep a player playing as much as possible, and if you have to stop a player playing for a cutscene, give them the option to skip. Because
Yeah.
even if it's 5% of your player base who don't want to watch that cutscene, you're essentially by not including an option to skip, you're ruining the game for 5% of your player base. Whereas if you include an option to skip, you're not ruining the game for the 95% of people who want to watch it, because they'll watch it.
Yep.
So it's
That's.
there's no loss to including a skip button at all.
I think it's too much work for them. They are like, I don't want this. Let's
Oh,
just finish this.
kids nowadays don't like to press buttons.
Yeah, just oh.
They just want stuff done for them.
Sadly, that's true. Oh, but you said the name of a game that it was non what?
Too human.
Then okay, so you said that game didn't fully come out because.
Well, basically, the game was supposed to be a set of three,
Mhm.
and they kind of doomed themselves because they released the first game and said this is going to be the first of three games. At which
Yes.
point they kind of failed to carry on through with
Mhm.
that because the two human sort of group, the two human developers, which were Silicon Knights,
Oh.
they basically got into a dispute over the use of certain rights and things, and because their game didn't do very well, and the dispute was arguing over kind of the quality of the game and things like that, essentially they just
No.
ended up closing doors over it.
No, I'm asking because I don't know if you guys heard about this, but a game that would supposed to be, I don't think out, but maybe could be out. I don't know if you know the game Scalebound.
Hmm.
It was a game should be an amazing game that would be an exclusive for Windows 10 and Xbox. I saw the game. Okay, I didn't saw, but I got lucky and saw the trailer. The game is beautiful. The game was going to be beautiful. The game itself, if that game would come out, I would buy it. But sadly, um, in this week, the company that were creating the Skullbound took the trailers of YouTube, and right after that, it was cancelled. The game was cancelled.
Hmm.
So my type of question, that's why I was asking about that game. Uh, Knowing that the company said that the game was going to be super super cool. People enjoyed non-stopping and that. They they created an illusion of this game and then they didn't deliver this game. How does that make you feel? Uh, that makes you feel like betrayed. Uh, you don't know how to feel because you never saw the game. So what's the feelings that you feel when a game that you want to come out doesn't come out?
So here's the thing. First things first, I actually have heard of the game, and I didn't know much about it. I just heard from it from the commotion, basically. Because I didn't see it when it came out. I didn't see it announced at E3 or whatever it was announced. But I saw the commotion. I looked it up and done some research, and basically it was cancelled from night to day. And a lot of people were mad about this. They were really hyped for the game. I checked some trailers that were still up on another site
Yeah,
other than YouTube.
because
Yeah, because they were taken out of YouTube, and
yeah, and people pirate
yes,
those
they
videos.
just post it, whatever, and checked a little bit of gameplay. The game looks like so much fun. It was so
Yeah.
pretty. It was like Pokemon on steroids.
Oh, really? Steroids? Jesus.
Like 10 steroids at a time. Like you have this giant dragon that you fight with, and he's basically your friend. And the main
Yeah.
character looked so interesting too. It reminded me a lot of Dante from Devil May Cry. He just had this I don't give a fuck attitude, and it looked like a lot of fun. And basically, you use your dragon. Also, there's co-op, I think, or there was going to be, because there
Yeah.
at one point there was like 4 dragons at a time, and you just fight giant kaijus with it. Like the dragon's pretty big, but the
Yeah.
kaijus were like 10 times the size of the dragon. So it looked like this huge and amazingly fun challenge to have with your friends. And I feel like people got disappointed. Like,
Oh.
I didn't particularly expect this game. I didn't think like, oh, this is a game I gotta have. This is a game that I'm definitely going to buy when it comes out. But it was like a possibility. It looked like fun, maybe one day. But now I've been stripped of that possibility and I feel robbed.
You didn't get the game, so how can you feel robbed?
Exactly. Yes.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay, so
Uh,
when it comes to scalebound, I think there's a couple of issues going on. Well, first off, I don't think, and I'll be a bit harsh with the general public in this, I personally don't think anyone has the right to be annoyed at the developers for cancelling the game, because it wasn't a Kickstarter game. They didn't take money off anyone. They didn't tell anyone that they were going to get free copies. They didn't do pre-orders. There's no one from the general public, no one who is a fan of the principle of this game, of the idea of this game, has any right to be pissed off or angry at the company developing it. The company that developing it failed. What they were trying to do was huge. I don't know what you guys know about it, but basically the idea was you had your character, who was a humanoid character with a sword who could transform. You had a pet dragon, and it was AI controlled, and you could give it orders and it would fight for you and would engage with you in combat. And you could have up to 4 other people and their pet dragons with you at the same time. And you were all fighting multi-stage cinematic bosses that responded to what choices you made in the fight. So it wasn't just a cutscene where you pressed X to do this, press B to do this, press C to do this. You could make choices, and then the giant kaiju monster you were fighting would respond to those choices, and what happened in the fight would change. No one understands how much of a huge undertaking this was. The coding for this game is insane, absolutely insane to actually make this work. And unfortunately, as has happened with thousands of Kickstarter games where they've taken people's money and tried to do something that they just weren't capable of doing and couldn't.
Mighty Number 9.
Mighty Number 9. This game tried to do something that was brilliant, came up with some great basics, some great base form, and then just couldn't do it. Now, why they couldn't do it, whether it was because of lack of money, lack of time, problems in the coding that just rendered it useless, whatever was the problem. Personally, if I was to say, there's no proof of this, but personally, if I was to say, it's probably lack of money. because they were being funded by Microsoft. And what Microsoft tends to do is Microsoft tends to set limits on how much they're willing to fund a games company to make a game. And several times over the past 5 years, they've had a game in development being paid for by Microsoft, not this company, but several other companies, including Obsidian, had a game in development being paid for by Microsoft, and they've turned around to Microsoft and said, we need more money to pay for our staff because the game's taking longer than we thought. And Microsoft have turned back and said, well, no, we've given you all the money we're going to give you, and if you can't deliver the game with that much money, then you just have to cancel the game because we're not giving you extra. And for Microsoft, I understand why, because games can become huge money sinks. It takes a lot of money, it takes a lot of staff to develop a AAA game, it takes a lot of money to develop a AAA game. Even indie games are taking 10, 20, 30 staff at the moment. The days of someone creating a text-based adventure in their basement is gone. So this game, it's not a Kickstarter game. People weren't paying for it in advance. No one's lost anything. It was a great idea, and if they've still got the coding and they've still got the stuff they've produced already, the software they've produced already, hopefully, if more money comes along or more time comes along, or if the coding gets easier, it might be a case where this game actually acts as the baseline for another game, a jump off point for another game. An example would be the Obsidian game that was cancelled. Microsoft cancelled an Obsidian game because it was taking too long and they were asking for too much money. Basically, they were asking for more money to support the development of the game, which is fair. They need the money, but Microsoft had set a limit, also fair. Obsidian then took that game's base and used that game's base, what they'd already created for that game, to develop another game, a different game, that followed along the same lines called Tyranny. Now, if that happens and this company then develops basically a jump-off game, a game that is perhaps maybe slightly smaller in scale, maybe it's not got the multiplayer, because I can see the multiplayer being a nightmare to try and code in. Maybe they scale back the use of the dragon. Maybe the dragon isn't always present. Maybe the dragon isn't always assisting you. Maybe it's a short-term summon or something like that, so it's easier to actually implement it into the game. That would be a great thing. It would be a great jumping off point. But what they tried to do was insane, what they tried to do. Beyond anything that's been produced yet. When at this point someone in the comments will immediately tell me a game that does exactly this already. But it's one of these things. Everybody kind of is getting annoyed at the company, the developers, saying, well, why are they cancelling it? Because they had to. Like,
people...
They can't develop it with no money. They can't develop it without being able to pay their staff. They can't develop it if there's been a major issue that literally stops them developing it. So why are people getting angry at the company? Just say, and the company did exactly the right thing. The guy in charge of producing it said, we're really sorry, we've had to cancel the game. We understand it's upsetting, but we can't continue. The reason they took the trailers off the YouTube channel, because that's the YouTube channel for the games they're developing, and if they're not developing that game anymore, those trailers are basically a lie. So it was perfectly reasonable for them to take the trailers away.
I think they are okay. I'm going to say this. Okay, yes, that's true. People don't understand what is behind of creating a game. It's not like, oh, I want to create a game, so yeah, it's easy. No, it's a lot of work, and I will never do that. And I understand why people stop doing games. It's a pain. It's a lot of work, but I think people got mad because no one told nothing. They just said we are cancelled. Ta-da.
But
okay, I understand. Okay, they are cancelled, but I think for the fans, if you are creating something that it's not for you, but it's for the fans, for someone that want to play, at least give an explanation saying, hey, sorry guys, we are cancelled this project because of reasons A or B.
Yep.
That's the thing that I think the creators should do, or should have done, saying we cannot do this because tal. That's the thing that I think they should have done, but they didn't.
I can understand that to a certain point, and I'll want Duztr to weigh in on this as well, but that has happened before. Developers have said we cancelled the game because our funding fell through, or we've cancelled the game because it's turning out to be more expensive than we thought. And what's happened from that is people have started GoFundMe pages or sent them money and things like that, and then people start to, or fans start to feel that they've bought into the game. And unfortunately, oftentimes those GoFundMe pages and things have never been able to generate enough money for the game to actually come to fruition. And then the fans get even more upset because they've actually put money into the project now. On top of that, say, for instance, they're working with Microsoft to develop this game. Say Microsoft, and there's no proof that they did this, but say Microsoft did say, it's taking too much money, we're just going to have to stop paying you now because it's too expensive. Which is perfectly legitimate. Microsoft's a company. It's got its profits and things to make. Say they said that. Now, if the developers of this, I can't remember what they're called now because I've forgotten, Platinum, if the developers of this Platinum Games turned around and said on, say, their Twitter that, oh, Microsoft stopped paying us so we've had to cancel the game, Microsoft would never work with Platinum Games again.
Yeah, but I'm not saying they need to explain the situation. They just need to say we cannot do this game because something happened. Something. I'm not telling they should lie. I'm just saying something like I don't know. It's not an excuse, but it's like they shouldn't have done just like okay, we are cancelled, bye, and leave. You know, I'm not making myself clear, but I think they should have done that. That's all.
I can understand the want. It's a natural urge for explanation. It's a natural urge for understanding. Every human being wants to understand why something happened the way it did. But unfortunately, especially when you're dealing with multiple companies and dealing with hundreds of different people in the staff, it's so hard to say something and not have it misconstrued, not have it misunderstood. And in the world of games development, if you have something you say misunderstood, that can cause a huge backlash against your company. That can cause a huge backlash by other companies or by your fans. I mean, I can't remember the name of the game, but there was one particular video game, and it was supposed to include a multiplayer feature. And they said, the developer said, we can't include the multiplayer feature because of the difficulty in managing the community. And basically they lost a huge number of fans, they lost a huge amount of support, and the game did very poorly because basically what that turned into a large group of people saying, oh, so you're saying your fans are immature, you're saying your fans aren't capable of playing together without being a problem. And that ballooned out of control. And it was a very innocuous statement, a very, very sort of quiet, unimportant statement that was just said by somebody, and it got blown out of proportion. So what happens is all of these statements made by companies go through filter after filter after filter to make sure no one ever says anything that can be misconstrued or misunderstood. And you do get these. They find things, and that's it. People hunt for it. People hunt for things to get upset about in these statements, and that's why probably I don't know myself. I can't guarantee it, but I'd say that's probably why they cancelled it quite quietly and quite simply. I mean, the director of the game, and in Japan, the director of the game tends to be a very kind of like overarching figure. He tends to have a lot of importance in the production of the game. Went on to Twitter and said, "I am sorry. I'm really sorry. We've had to cancel this." The fact that they've come out on Twitter, they've said they've cancelled it. It's not that they've just stopped developing it and not told anyone. They've said they've cancelled it and they've apologized. Unfortunately, within the world of business, that's what you're getting. Like, I know everyone wants an explanation, but you can't. I don't understand why people are getting angry at the fact it's been cancelled. It's like, just accept it, and it's nothing. And there's nothing we can do about it.
Accept it and move on. God damn it.
Yes, exactly.
Jesus, I think that I think one. Okay, I was thinking on something like, they could not put out the full game or something. I was thinking like, why don't they do like Paladins or other games that are in beta, you know? they can always go improving the game slowly. They didn't need to finish the game so quickly. They nowadays beta games are better than full games. There are so many beta games that are still in development and are way better than full games. So I think they could go that route. I don't know. What do you guys think about this?
Um, I mean, I don't agree 100% with you.
Of
Not
course
all
not.
beta games are better than full games. Some beta games are like shit. I can't think of something off the top of my mind. And the worst thing about it that sometimes they make us pay for beta games. And
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
that's
that's true.
that's that's really bad. I really disagree with that. And then they just, oh, we're making money off this. We don't need to update it. We don't need to make it a good game. We can just print the money and walk away with it. See, I don't agree with that. If I were to make a game, I would make a game that I would enjoy and I'd want other people to enjoy. I mean, if I could make money off of it, that would be cool, but I think enjoyment comes first when it comes to game. Not only because of an ethical thing, whatever. Not, I'm not saying you don't need money, but like if you build a loyal enough fan base out of games that are good, even though if they take a lot of time to make, um, I think it can be very beneficial for a company. But yeah, other than that, sometimes beta games are like actually really the way to go.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
like those survival games. Most survival games are beta, and they keep adding
Yep.
stuff. They're basically having a tryout to for people to find bugs and help them fix it. It's basically asking a community to help them make a game, and I agree with it when a game is well done. Yeah, that's that.
Mm. That's that. I'm out. Peace out.
Peace.
Drop,
Drops the
drop the
mic.
mic.
Yep.
Okay, so with something like Scalebound coming to beta, or coming to what's called open public beta or early access beta, there's a major issue. First off, it's not so much of an issue with the more recent console generation because of download the hard drives attached to the most recent console generation, but console games are still mostly bought on disc. I would argue, and I'd argue that most console games nowadays are still disc based. So if you're releasing a beta version of a game, you're essentially releasing a disc that is worthless because it's got an incomplete version of the game on it. It's got a false version of the game on it. There's also the issue of people paying for beta games and then that game not fulfilling. There's been a lot of games that have gone into early access, into beta, been paid for games in beta, in early access, and then failed. And then they've stopped development. There's games sitting in what is generally referred to as development hell, which is coined by PC users on Steam, where it is an early access game that was being developed, it looked good, and then the developers just disappear. And they take a lot of money with them when they disappear. Maybe they've spent all that money on the development of the game, maybe they haven't. Depends on how well the beta game was doing. But
Yeah.
I think beta has its place, or early access has its place. In fact, beta isn't what we call beta. Beta is a stage in developing a game. So in developing a game, you have concept, you have boarding, you have base coding, you have alpha, you have beta, and then you have testing, and then you have release. Beta is a specific stage in games development. Now, the reason we term it as beta is a lot of companies did start releasing elements of their game while their game was in beta. Nowadays, a lot of things that we call beta is actually not beta. A lot of the stuff we call beta is either in alpha or in testing stage or in the final stages before release. It's all over the shop, which is why the term early access was coined, because it covers all these things. A beta game that's released in the final stages of testing, pretty much guaranteed to come out. An early access game in those late stages, pretty much guaranteed to come out. They're just using the community to do the testing. Because rather than paying one person to spend 500 hours playing a small patch of your game to try and break it, they basically get the community to play the entire game for millions and millions of hours and break it that way. And that's how they get their quality assurance and their testing to find where the bugs are and to fix them. Games that are released into early access in alpha, or even actually in the legitimate beta stage, the beta stage of game development, they're less likely to come out because there's still a lot to be done on those games, a huge amount to be done on those games. And one of the things being released into early access says is we need to make money from this because we're not being able to pay for the development of it properly.
Yeah.
And so if they don't get enough people buying it over a long enough period to sustain that game and to sustain the development, it may never get finished. And sooner or later the company's going to go, well, we're not getting enough money to finish this game, so we're just going to cancel. And what's happened then is it's just like with the Kickstarter or the GoFundMe pages for cancelled games. You have a huge number of people who have bought into that game and then get nothing from it.
I saw so many of those campaigns on the site of the fundraisers.
Yep.
And so many angry comments.
And it's exactly the same as pre-ordering. With early access games and pre-ordering, you're basically saying, I am paying for this game regardless of how good or bad it is and regardless of whether or not it's actually a functional game. And what happens is people pay for these games in the assumption they're going to become fully functional games, whether they're pre-orders or they're early accesses. And they don't always do it. They don't always succeed in becoming fully functional games. Now, what we kind of have to do as consumers, we kind of have to do as a group as consumers, is just stop doing that. It sounds really harsh, but if it is a game that is completely unfinished and you have no guarantee that they're going to finish it, stop giving people money. Because essentially that's like me saying to you, oh, I'll make you a sandwich tomorrow if you give me 20 quid.
What?
It's like, well, wait, are you? Okay.
Are you going?
So
Yeah, you might use that money to get on a bus and just run away.
just go. And it's exactly the same thing in game development. You have no guarantee that they're going to fulfill their promises. There was several famous ones, but there was an example of one which was supposed to be this big, expansive open world game, and in the end it just turned into this little tiny plot of land that you messed about on, because that's all the developers could actually make. Now, they set up, and once they start, and this is the thing, if you're not accepting money, cancel your game, turn your game into whatever you want, don't care. If you haven't accepted money off general public, if you've just taken it off developers, that's their job. The job of developers and publishers is to pay for these things up front. If you've taken money off fans and you don't deliver, then fans have a right to be pissed off.
Oh, yeah.
And this is what happens in beta. Games are released into early access or beta stages, and then they take money off fans for these beta games and they never finish them. And to me, that's a sin much greater than cancelling a game. So in my opinion, Scalebound, cancelled, fine, they cancelled it. They couldn't afford, fine by me. If they put it into beta and started charging people for it, and then not finished it, I would, in my opinion, I'd be perfectly happy with someone to start a class action lawsuit to get their money back. And that sort of thing can sink a games company.
Oh yeah, super quick. I was thinking now about some games that did that, promise so many things and never happen, or might never happen. Mobile phones, no mobile phones, goddamn, mobile games, big games that people, no, not people, creators said, this is going to be an awesome game, come get it now, and then it wasn't, and people got so angry about them. And then the creators, I don't like is when the creators say this game is going to be awesome, people go get it, and then it's not so awesome and people get angry, and the creators have the how do you say, have the courage, let's say this way, to say, oh no, we never promised that, oh no, if you go to any page you will never find that we said that, or something. That's a thing that I really piss me off, because I don't I don't like when creators of a game promise something that it's going to be something new and then don't create,
Hmm.
and then people say, "Oh, you ripped me off," nothing, something something, and they say, "No, no, no, we didn't say that. No, you are lying." So buy and take a lot of money. I cannot remember the name of the game that did that. I know it's something happened. The creators put off this amazing game, amazing, uh, and then people got it and was so bad, and then they tried to get their money back. The creator has had disappeared. No one knows where he is. I know he's rich now because a lot of people got that game. So he is living the life right now somewhere. I don't know where.
He took that buzz money and he just went off.
Yep. So
Oh,
there's
I
been several different situations. For instance, one of the ones which comes to mind from early access was a game called Towns. So Towns was billed itself as a big city builder, and it was released on Steam after going through the greenlight process as an incomplete early access game, and sold 200,000 copies at $15 a piece. And after some small development patches over the course of about a year, the developer turned around and said, "I've run out of money and I can't develop it. It's because I'm inexperienced and I didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't realize I wouldn't get enough money by selling the early access copies." So this is a case where a person had not enough money to finish the game, went into early access to pay for the game. So basically, he's getting people to pay for the game to be finished, but then never got enough money to finish it and had to cancel it. And now it is sitting in early access hell. It's never going to be finished. It's not in a playable state, and that comes from potentially from an inexperienced and unready games developer going into a sales position. Um, No Man's Sky is another example of it. No Man's
no.
Sky, loads of people bought it. It was actually a full release. It wasn't a beta or anything like that, but it was a full release. Loads of people pre-ordered it, played it, realized it was nothing like what they said it was going to be, and
And they didn't get the refund.
exactly. Um, Another one that's like that, another pre-order game would be Alien Resurrection or Alien Colonial Marines. Um, but yeah,
Wait, the good one was Isolation, right?
yes.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Alien Colonial Marines was the one that showed a vertical slice of gameplay.
Oh.
But you've also got something called Hero Song. Hero Song was a little pixel mage game. It was released into early access and then just a few months later got cancelled. It actually went onto Indiegogo, and people paid onto Indiegogo, and that got cancelled.
10.
People have actually been petitioning Steam to give back refunds for early access games they bought that were then cancelled, but Steam has said we can't do that because you've paid a company for a product. We've given you all the information saying this is an early access game, this game may not be finished. You've basically agreed to pay this company for an unfinished product. You received the unfinished product. Whatever promises the company made, that's promises the company made, not what we made. We didn't say that.
Luckily, I never experienced nothing like that. And have any of you guys experienced and finished game and then cancel and you paid for that game?
I mean, most of unfinished games I've played were free, normally online on the browser games that are unfinished and extremely stupid and unplayable, and I hate them. But hey, it's good for like 5 minutes of laughs, and that's where they belong, in the browser. Um, that's why I think YouTube is so important for gaming communities. or maybe even other or websites. I'm not gonna say IGN because IGN doesn't know what they're doing, but still, um, like watching a video on a video game that you want to buy, like you don't even have to watch that much, like 5 minutes. 5 minutes would be enough to grab your attention, see if you want to buy the game, and like it's like a filter of quality, and YouTube is a great tool for doing that, especially very talented people like Everyday John,
Oh,
Eternal, now on mobiles, free.
yes, internals free on mobile phones, Google Play. Go
So
get it.
so yeah, I think that's very important to have a community surrounding other people that try these games and like look at us and like this is shit, don't buy it, thank you.
Hmm.
Yeah, but
That's also the Steam reviews that helps a lot.
another thing that, sorry, Droid, I don't know what is your input, but I just want to say this. Uh, I I trust the YouTubers and don't trust at the same time because many gamers YouTubers can be paid to do a good review on a game, and that game isn't so good, and they say it's good, get it now. So I think more. I will wait to say my opinion. Droid, please go for it.
Okay, so I've been involved or I've purchased several early access games. I've been quite lucky in that I'm very, very careful with um, what early access games I purchase. I don't purchase early access games in the alpha stage. I don't purchase early access games in the beta stage. I purchase early access games when they are in their final stage development. Um, so, for instance, I've purchased Darkest Dungeon, I've gotten Don't Starve, I've gotten Kerbal Space Program, I've gotten Subnautica. I've gotten several end stage development early access games, but I've always gotten them at the point where even if the game was cancelled and fell through there and then, I'd be happy to have those games. Um, I've known people who've purchased early access games that were then sort of flat cancelled and never went through to anything. Um, and an example would be Grip. Grip was a racing game that one of my friends purchased, and they kind of failed in several things. And supposedly they're going to be releasing back into early access,
Oh,
but supposedly they've actually managed to sort of bring it on a bit further. But yeah, there's been quite a few early access games that have just fallen through. And again, like the only thing I can say to people listening is do not get games in alpha. If it is not a fully functional playable game in the state it is in, do not buy it, even if the developers are promising the world. Wait until it gets into a stage where it's actually usable and actually playable, and then you'll be happy.
yeah. Well, I would say if you want to get um, an alpha game, I think you should get it, but it must be for a company that you trust and you know that it will never get back on his words. So there are a lot of companies that do that. They say, okay, we are going to finish this game, not now, but maybe in 2 weeks, or maybe more, 1 year or 2 years, and they do that. And they finish it, and they keep doing that. They promise, and they they do it. The game, they release the game. So if there are companies that I think you should see it, and if it is, if they are trustworthy, I think if they release an alpha game or something like that, and they say they are going to finish, I think I would get that. I would get it, that game, if they say we are going to finish, and I know that they have finished all of the games that they try to release, so I would get it. Trust is a very important key on this type of business. So That's my thinking.
Well,
So, well.
next question.
Oh, okay. Okay, let me see. Next question. Uh, 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 uh.
John.
Don't die, John.
Okay. I will not
Jesus.
die. I will not die. I will go back to the prices that we are going to talk about.
Okay.
We're talking about. So you said that people paid a lot of money for unfinished games, and then those games were cancelled. Okay, but the next topic that I'm going to talk about is not about a not finished game. It's a finished game, and it's Mario Run. If you guys don't know what Mario Run is, it's an app for iPhone, give iPhone phones that you can play as Mario. I think it's as Mario only. I don't know. So you go to through the three levels first, free, and then if you want to continue the game, you need to pay almost $10. And people have paid those $10 for a mobile phone. No mobile phone, god damn it, for a mobile game. And
Eternal now fun.
f- and this game is the first game that it's so expensive for mobile phones. So, do you think that Nintendo is doing right? Because a lot of people have got it that game. Like a really lot of people have got that game because it's the first Nintendo game to phones. So, what do you think about that?
So I've actually played Mario Run. It was
Of
on
course.
hey, it was on the phone of my friends, and he went up to me and was like, "Hey, check this out! This is Mario game, yo." That's probably that's probably shit. I don't think Nintendo would do a game for phones. No, no, it's really by Nintendo. You have to check it out. That piqued my curiosity. Because we all know Nintendo has some very high quality merchandise and video games and whatever. Everything they do is super high quality. Okay, mostly high quality. And they, and especially Mario, the most iconic character in video games. I tried the game, and if you have ever played Super Mario Brothers or anything like that, New Super Mario Brothers is more like it on the Nintendo DS. It's basically that game where you don't run. All you can do is jump. You only have the jump button. And it's basically Super Mario Brothers for the Nintendo DS. Um,
Uh,
it was actually pretty good. It's a runner type game. I actually quite enjoy those. It's like for a little hit and run. You can do a level in like minute and a half. It's all good.
yeah,
And
it's
and particularly as the part that they gave you like the first three levels, I think that was that was very clever. I think more games should do things like this. They should give you a little taste of the game, and that would get you more hyped and would make you want more. And for me in particular, I would like more of this game because it's just for $10 you're getting a $40 game on your phone. I think it's pretty cool, and I think Nintendo should do more like this. Definitely.
Okay,
well,
so
it's.
oh, go ahead, John.
Oh, I was going to say it's not for Android. Like Internal, the car game, now free on
God
Google
damn
Play.
it.
John, you are not being paid by them. Why do you keep doing it?
I will. Okay.
It would
Okay.
happen someday.
So I think one of the issues that Nintendo have experienced releasing Super Mario Run, and with the $10 tie-in, the $10 pay-in for it, is there are two different groups of people. There's groups of people who've been gaming for years, like myself. There's groups of people who've been gaming since the early stages of gaming, back when the NES and the SNES existed. And I call that early stages of gaming, but people will say that that's like mid-level gaming, and Atari became first, and so on and so forth. But I am used to the idea of a demo, where you get to play the first couple of levels for free. I am then perfectly sort of used to the idea of having played those first couple of levels for free, I then have to pay for the rest of the game. And with the development levels and the quality and the development time for proper Nintendo games, and this is actually a really good Nintendo game, runs on a phone, but the phone has as much processing power as most handheld consoles nowadays. It's a proper Nintendo game. That's fine. Like, it's a $10 Nintendo game. The problem is most people who play on their phones are not used to game developers being involved. They're used to free games with microtransactions. The fact that most people, if they actually stopped and thought about it, have spent probably much more than $10 on a free game, in quotation marks, with microtransactions, whereas this is just $10 pay and you get the whole game, regardless. It's actually like the fact they released a short demo is very, very fair. It lets you try the game without paying for it, and then you pay for the game and play it. I think the backlash they've had is because people expect these games. Now, like if they'd released, it's got 24 levels in it. So say they released the first 4 levels for free, and then every level after that cost 50 cents. People would have been much more accepting, because that's a microtransaction game. And they would have been fine with it because they're used to that on mobile phones. They're used to microtransaction games. Still would have cost them $10 to play the whole game, but they would have been fine with it.
Because it's not a big number. People get scared when they see a big number.
Yeah, because they say, oh, well, no game on phones is $10. Yes, games on phones aren't $10, but to progress in games on phones or to complete certain games or to get the entirety of certain games, you still have to pay microtransactions again and again and again. To be honest, the way Nintendo has done this, saying like it's $10, you get the game, that's really very fair. And a lot of more experienced gamers are looking at it like, yeah, actually that's a mobile phone game that I'm actually interested in. That's a mobile phone game I would buy because I know how much it costs. It's not going to throw microtransactions at me. It's just going to be a game. So I personally think it's an issue of Nintendo perhaps not understanding their mobile phone audience because this is their first foray into proper mobile phone gaming. So I think perhaps it's a confusion between the gamer on the mobile phone and the games company that's used to doing console games. Because they're looking at the phone as a console. They're looking at the phone as a portable console like a DS, but it's not. It's a different beast with a different group of people who use it.
Yeah, because Nintendo achieved two achievements: the first Nintendo game for phones and the first expensive game for phones. It was something that I never expected. The other thing that I was thinking is that because Nintendo knows they have that community that grow up with games with like Mario and Zelda and more, I think they are how am I going to say this? It's so hard when you know the words in one language but you don't know the words in the language that you are speaking. I think they use this this growing up as an advantage to put the game. Okay, let's make it $10. We know that people like Mario and they will get it. So and they did it. I think that was not a very smart move for them. The first game for phones for Nintendo. I think they should like at least $5. I think that would be a great start for the games. And then we don't know, the next patch could be another $5 and the next like you were saying, not 10 but 5 or 2 or 5 cents or something. I think they played the trust card here in very often, so that's what I think. And I'm so sad because they didn't do that game for Android. What? Why? Why Nintendo? Why?
Probably because of the console wars. I
Hmm.
mean, Microsoft is its own company of games with the Xbox and such. So yeah, it's probably that.
Yeah, it's probably the fact that Microsoft owns the Android processing system.
Yeah, but if you if you guys don't know this, but half it's not half of the world. It's more people use Android than iPhone. So if they wanted to make this game more earn more with this game, I think they should pick both of the Android and iPhone.
Hmm.
That's what I think because I don't know. I don't know if this game is good or not because I didn't try it. Stupid Nintendo. I've played all of your games.
Every single one. I wasted millions on them.
Why I cannot play Nintendo on my phone? I hate you, Nintendo. Oh
But pay
Jesus
me if you want
Christ.
to.
Yeah, pay me.
Oh, Jesus.
Send me the Switch, by the way.
And an iPhone so that I can advertise Super
Yeah,
Mario Run.
like internal now on phones, Google Play,
Hmm.
free.
Yes, indeed.
So, before we move on, can I actually just take a second to jump back? Because I actually just coined something. I was just looking through my Steam library now. I was just having a quick sort of browse through my Steam library, thinking about the previous questions we talked about. And I have actually been burnt by a early access game. I am normally really, I am
What?
normally really careful with buying early access games, but Double Fine, who produced some amazing games, Double Fine produced some amazing games in their career as a developer, and I really liked most Double Fine games. I've played 4 Double Fine games that I really enjoyed that were proper releases. Released a game called Space Base DF9, Space Base
I'm
Deep
gonna look
Field
it up.
9, and
I never heard it.
Space Base Deep Field 9 was a space-based simulator in which you built a space station around a pod, and you had to manage oxygen and repair. You had traders come to your station. You had to manage security. You had to have food production. You had to manage your station basically, and you had to mine resources out of asteroids to do it. So essentially, it was very much like the Colony game. I can't remember what it's called. Quite recently released, where you land on a planet and you have to build yourself a colony and mine into walls and things.
Astrony?
No, not Astroneer.
No.
It was a top-down one.
Um,
Uh,
God damn it, I cannot remember the name.
um, wasn't Pulsar. What was it called? It was. Well, it doesn't matter. I've watched several YouTubers play it. Northern Lion has a big series of it.
Oh.
Oh wait, who? Northern Line?
Yeah, Northern Lion has a big series of it.
Yeah, give me a sec then. Keep talking.
And
Just-
basically, the game Deep Space DF9 or Space Base DF9 was designed to be a wonderful top-down experience, and I bought into it in early access. And what happened was, it never got finished at all. It just stopped, and they just stopped developing it. And not only did they stop developing it, they stopped developing it when it was completely unplayable. It was just an unfinished game. You could probably play it for 5-10 minutes, and then it just wouldn't work again. It just wouldn't continue. There was no continuation. What they did do was they released the source code and said, well, if you can like make it better, make it better. But we've got it. And what they did was kind of slightly iffy. Was they took the last time they released it, the last patch they released, and instead of releasing it in 0.9 or whatever, they released it as version 1 and said it was finished and released the source code, saying that saying what was it? They said that there wouldn't be any technical support and that we fired anyone who might have pretended, or they basically said good luck with it, and just kind of dumped the open source code out and let people use it.
What?
It's missing a lot of things, but since you were so cool paying for them, would you mind developing them for us?
Oh.
Has anyone actually picked it up and done something with it, like publicly?
Nope, no one's developed it any further than its release date, as far as I'm aware. There may be some patches for it if you go hunting through the internet, but I haven't kind of hunted down.
After that, he never picked up the game.
But yeah,
He felt betrayed.
Well, I didn't feel betrayed, but it was a case of like I bought this game. They gave some great ideas for it, some great things for it, and in the end, it just kind of fell
Didn't even
through,
matter.
and it so I actually I have on my Steam list under S, I have Space Base DF9.
Played for the gaming droids.
Got 2 hours on it, and you can load mods into it and you can try and get it working, but like it just kind of stopped development. So I have actually been burnt by one.
Well, that sucks.
Loads of people got burnt by Stomping Land, Earth 2066, Towns.
Not me.
Another good one is the War Z. That was another one that kind of fell through quite rapidly. But yeah, there's been a lot of games that have just kind of collapsed, and I actually just remembered I was thinking, like, I'm sure I've paid for some early access game that never finished.
Oh.
I must have paid for at least one. But for the most part, yeah, it's a case of I only ever really go for games that I know are going to end up finished.
Yes, because you only play free games.
I don't only
So-
play free games. I play an awful lot of finished games.
Jesus, don't need to get mad about it.
Yeah, Jesus.
Just
I was
because I
just
ended-
saying you play
just
free
'cause-
games
RimWorld.
because
That's what it's like. It was like RimWorld. I knew it had something to do with butts.
Oh, gross.
Sorry. I was using like I was trying to figure out what it was, and I actually found Space Base DF9 very much like RimWorld in how it was laid out and how you worked with it, but it just never kind of clicked and never finished off properly.
Actually, kind of glanced over that on his channel, and I didn't think that was it. Anyways,
Jesus Christ.
But Talks, this best podcast.
But talk, woo woo. Wait, why did I do that to DuckTales? But talk.
Yeah.
But Talk. Woo.
Na, 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 na,
Rim
na.
job. Woo. Gross.
Oh my god.
Someone bleep him.
I don't
Oh,
know
God.
how to do it. If I knew,
I cannot be blipped.
God damn it.
After we finish recording this, I'll just do a recording of me going bleep, and you can just put it over the top of him saying that.
Oh my god.
The people need to know, droids. You brought this onto yourself.
Oh my god.
Oh dear.
Oh, but well, I cannot even go after this. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We broke
Only
the
the best
presenter.
thoughts.
Way! My
my
lifetime of
God.
achievements.
Yay. I don't know
We're
if
the
that's a good
presenter
achievement. But with broken games, with not good games, there are going to be some good games that are going to come out on this month. So, and I would like to know. I think I know for your droids, but I think you possibly change your mind. I don't know for Duztr. So, Duztr, if you want to tell us what game got your eye interest in this month.
Alright. let me tell a little bit of story about the
Oh my
little
god.
Duztr. When
No.
Duztr was just a tiny kid, he brought
You
a
still are.
Nintendo. Shh, don't remember. He bought a Nintendo Wii, and he was so happy. He got to play Wii Sports. He got to play some Mario. He was super happy. But as a time, and in every man's lifetime, there came a time where he needed to turn to horror. Now I know this game didn't originally come out for the Nintendo. It's the Nintendo Wii. It's much older than that. I know. Don't crucify me. But the game I've had the most fun with in a Nintendo product that isn't portable. That's very specific. But it was Resident Evil 4. Now,
Mhm.
here's the thing about Resident Evil 4. So far, I believe it to be the best in the God damn it, in the collection. I don't remember the word. Whatever. I played it to death, completed it like 6 times, and I wish I'd completed it more. I had so much fun with that game. It's super spooky the first time around. It's a lot of there's also a lot of action. I don't know. They mixed it very well in 4. They kind of stopped after that one. Whatever. It's just Call of Duty
After
with
that.
zombies. Woo. Anyways, and I thought the hope for Resident Evil was lost until last year. A really cool game was announced, and it got me so hyped for Resident Evil 7. I mean, we all saw Silent Hills. We all were very happy about that game. It looked amazing. I don't know, probably John wasn't. John looked very scared, and and I was really happy for that because I'm a huge fan of horror. And
Yay.
when the game got cancelled because everyone at
Yay.
Konami is super fucking smart, um, my heart was broken. I was
Oh.
so looking forward to that game. Didn't even get to play the trailer or the playable teaser, as it is called, PT. But my heart was broken. And later that year, we got to see. Wait, I'm mixing 2015. Whatever. It's okay. Um, we got to see Resident Evil 7, and that was really weird cadence. But I'm so happy. I want to play it. It's coming out the 24th. I want it. I want it.
And
I
the
want it all
Academy
inside of
Award for the most long-winded and overacted game suggestion is
Resident
Duztr!
Evil 4 by Duztr.
Oh my god. Don't forget
I
to
want to
fall.
thank the Academy. I want. Jesus Christ. But yeah, Resident Evil 7. Yes, please. In my
Yes.
Steam library now.
Okay, so this week I've been having a look at games coming out soon.
This week, if you want me to tell you, I was going to tell that, but
No,
you
well,
have
no.
the British,
No,
the British
no.
voice. So
This
tell
this
it.
week I've been looking at games coming out, sort of like since last podcast. I've had an eye on a couple of other games, not necessarily games released this week, but games released very soon. I played old point and clicks. You two are probably far too young to know what point and clicks are and to have ever played one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we weren't here with the dinosaurs.
When Duztr said that he was a child and got a Nintendo Wii, I'm like, seriously? I was like 22 when that came out. It's like,
When I mean child, I was like 14. It was like 3 years ago.
so mentally you were 6.
Basically. I still am.
So there's a point and click adventure coming out soon called The Wardrobe. And The Wardrobe looks like a really good comedy point and click adventure. It pulls a lot of referential humor, which doesn't date very well because it's got a lot of references to things like Don't Starve, Binding of Isaac, a lot of other recent video games. So it's got a lot of referential humor, but it just seems to be a wonderfully camp, humorous little point and click that I think is going to be something I'll be interested in playing through to find the well. Basically, the reason I play point and click adventures is to find how many different ways I can kill my character.
Well, that's not sadistic at all.
Of course not, but droid
That is
sadistic.
that is perfectly normal for a human being to do.
Oh my god. So, but I was going to say the games that are going to come out, like I did the last podcast. In this week, the games that did come out were Atsumo Miku Project Diva Future Tone. If you don't know who Atsumo Miku is, you have problems.
You're living under a rock.
She's a
Exactly.
Vocaloid.
Yeah. Criminal Girls Invite Only. Danganronpa.
Danganronpa.
Danganpu.
Danganronpa. Danganronpa.
V3 Killing Harmony. If this is such a good series, I think you watched this. The Killing Bear. You know the bear that is white in one part, black on the other part.
I just recognize it by the name. Danganronpa
Okay.
is like a super recognizable name.
Yeah. Rise and Shine, and that's all. That's were the games that did come out this week.
Or at least
if
all
you
the
guys
big
want to
releases.
see
There's
it.
been a few indie releases and things coming out, but not massive ones.
Exactly. If it's not big, it's not important.
Okay.
And this is John's bedroom saying.
You should totally put that on the thumbnail. If it's not big, it's not important.
Oh my god. I hate you guys
Love you too, John.
so much. Jesus Christ. So yeah, those are the games that are going to come out this that
have
did come out this week.
Yeah.
Also with some of the new things that the Switch showed, the convention with for the Switch, I've seen the new Mario and the new Zelda. Did you guys watch the new Mario, by the way?
I did see
I
some of the new
didn't know.
Mario, yes.
I didn't know there was a new Mario coming out.
It's Mario Audition? Odyssey, yeah. It's such a cool game. I
Is
cannot
it like
wait
in
to
the
see.
line of Super Mario Galaxy? Or what is it? Is it a 2D scroller?
It's actually a sandbox.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, you need to see it. I'm not going to talk about that game here because this is going to be the topic for the next podcast for the next guest to discuss.
What?
Because
A sneak peek? Wow.
yeah,
Oh
wow.
my god.
yes.
Sneak peeks.
But because I'm saying this is going to be the end of this podcast of this week. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast because I know the beginning was not very China. My speaking was not very
It still
fluent.
isn't.
You
It still
did
Let's shut up
fine,
a cup.
John.
But with time, I will get better. I hope. And for my guests, do you have something to say? Please
It's not important if it's not big.
It is I, everyday John. It is not important if it is not big. Wait, why did I go Mexican?
I don't
Wow.
know.
I was trying for
Okay.
Portuguese, but I went Mexican.
The
I am
gaming
very
droid,
offended.
Yep.
the racist,
The racist
droid.
gaming droid. Yep, that's me.
The racist droid.
Jesus.
That would be a
Christ.
great comedy channel. I could do a YouTube channel where I just did racist rants,
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
but really poor quality ones that made no sense.
Oh my god.
Like those Portugueses. They should just stay in Mexico where they came from.
Yes, exactly. All the Portuguese people coming over from Mexico.
Fucking sick of them.
Oh my
This message
god.
has been sponsored by our president, Donald Trump.
Ho, 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 ho.
That's right, I said it.
Oh my god. We are going to burn in hell. Jeez. At least you two. I'm not.
Oh,
I'm
sure,
safe.
you're the angel.
Of course I am.
Thank you very much for having me on the podcast, John.
No, thank you for being the 1 hour guest asking. Yes.
What?
Yeah, I'm just the guy who sits on the bench who just doesn't get to join in unless someone else doesn't turn up. I just sit there, just like, can I play now,
Yeah,
coach?
and I look at you and I think very, very thoughtfully. Should
Does
I
it
or should I not?
does it have to be I really fucking hate this guy.
God damn it!
Don't
Where
start with me,
are you?
Duster. Don't start with me, Duster.
Oh my god. Okay, but I'm going to finish this because we reached 1 hour almost. No, 1 hour and 30 minutes on this podcast. So, guys, thank you so much for being here and for watching. I see you next in the next podcast. I'm going to announce the next guests on Wednesday. So, yes, thank you so much for being here, and I see you next time. Bye. Guys, say bye.
Bye everyone.
Money, money, money.